Hi, I'm Riley McCallum, the General Manager of Magnum Automotive Group. Today we're at Magnum Service Centre at 272 Chewham Street on the one-way between Madras and Barbados Streets. Today we're offering our client base a $25 safety check if you feel you cannot wait until your next warrant of fitness. This particular problem is a hot topic in the industry and we are seeing this more often than we should. Cars not needing a warrant of fitness for another 6 months or a year and tyres or brakes are completely unsafe. With this safety check, our qualified technicians can quickly assess and advise how promptly any repairs need carried out.
Can someone have a look at the...
By checking tyres, brakes, suspension, visibility, lights and a road test. Highest priority in motoring, and we believe it has been missed out since introducing the extended length between warrant of fitness checks. $25 to assure your family is safe is not much money on the grand scheme of things. So to recap, Magnum Automotive Group are offering a $25 safety check at any of our 4 workshops, Christchurch, Dunedin and Wanaka. Please use our website to make a booking to avoid disappointment, www.magnumgroup.co.nz or phone 0508 4 Magnum.
And a very good afternoon and welcome back to the third qualifying run of the Winmax Ashley Forest Rally Sprint here in the beautiful sunny North Canterbury this afternoon, as we've just started the first of the 1300 competitors on the course, and we can currently see DJ David Musk from Brightwater with the Citroen GSA with its flat 4 air cooled and wheel arch covers
and rally trim.
So, not exactly in the style of the WRC Citroens, but...
Well, as I was saying earlier on, Grant, the Citroen were never known to producing the most beautiful cars, but always the cars were very well built. And hey, here's a bit of an icon, this car, isn't it, really?
It is indeed. So a 104.98 this time for
104.
No, sorry, to the hairpin. I beg your pardon. I was going to say crikey.
A 139.35. 104, man. Oh, here we have.
Who know?
Here we have we have the Italians now. Tis war. This is Italians. No.
Lovely paint job, just needs a bit of sign writing.
Oh, there you go. Paint job.
Chucky's got a job. Someone tell that man to call Chucky sign writers when he's finished.
Tony Coakley chasing a 131.3, what he did last time. Blake, here for the enjoyment of it and to say I've been there and I've done that.
And he says his motorsport highlights consist of crashing in the rain at Ruapuna, which probably wouldn't be too difficult, and setting fire to the hay bales at Levels.
Highlights? Memorable moments, Tony, not highlights, I suggest.
Up to the hairpin comes the little Fiat Uno.
57.01. Hayden would beat him by 0.01 of a second on the last run. Oh, yeah, he was going to the top, and Hayden was doing the whole lap.
We won't have a handicap start then.
Well, that's good handicapping, I suppose. Here we go with a one. Oh, he'd be pleased. A 1:30.26. So he's improved from his first 2 runs.
So he claims to have been the slowest car every year, but he's not at the moment.
No,
He's going to have a fight with the Citroen.
the Citroen. It is the European Challenge.
Yes, that's right. French against the Italians. As Gary Meacham comes to the line.
If you're after you false teeth, Gary's your man.
So Gary was 3rd in class here 3 years ago.
After 30 years of trying, he's finally convinced to compete in both sports.
Yeah, he's done well, Gary, in the class. It's going to be a pretty tough ask this year, though, to the 1:23.53. It's going to be. It's a very, very tough class this year. This baby class, the 1300cc, and it's anyone's game really.
And I'm pretty sure Gary sat beside Matt Summerfield at Catlin's Rally this year
Oh, I don't, did he? Yeah.
in the Legacy.
Nicole will be able to tell us that, but she's not here.
So puts his low light down as to putting the Lotus 7 off the Summit Road on the Evans Pass hill climb back in '96.
That would be a low light too, I'd imagine. Anyway, Gary did 53.39 to the top as he winds his way down the mountain now. Here he goes, and he stops the clock at a 1:23.52. So he is just fractionally under his time from round 2, but nevertheless it's his best time, and that's what's going to depend on. I presume this is the last run. Well, they might do it tomorrow morning, first thing they did last year.
Might have to grit his teeth a bit harder for the next one.
Yeah. Oh, Grant, that's droll.
Rob McKenzie, car 59.
They'd fall out, wouldn't they, if you got your teeth too hard with false teeth?
Might be a lightweighting thing, then throw them out altogether. So Rob McKenzie from Motueka and Nelson, Toyota Corolla, heads up the hill. Yeah, here we are. It is sponsored by the government super fund, it says. So there we are. Your card comes in useful for something.
How old is he?
69.
Oh, I understand that.
First time here at the Winmax brake pad Ashley Forest Rally Sprint.
And you will one day, young fella too.
Yes, that's right. I told you I need to talk to the false teeth man. Heading up to the hairpin comes Rob McKenzie. After 20 years of mostly circuit racing, switched to gravel 10 years ago.
And a 1:01.76 for Rob McKenzie as he chases his best time of 1:34.34 in the baby class.
Maybe a bit of sunlight up there getting in his eyes, perhaps. As he comes through the
Yes, we're not sure, folks out there, what the procedure is, whether it's the last run of the day or not, but we'll certainly let you know when we know.
1:36.46.
So, it's a slower time for Rob McKenzie. So, his best time is his round 2 run of 1:34.34.
So, yep, car 58 comes to the start line. Reese Turner from Dunedin in his 81 Toyota Starlet. So, he spent 4 to 5 years circuit racing a 89 Honda Civic. But a rookie here at Ashley Forest. Puts his highlights down as to finishing with a going car, which is always a good sign. So Reece Turner from Dunedin on the uphill part of the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint course now, heading to the Hella Hairpin.
Well, the stars from New Zealand were probably made famous. Paul Adams and sort of Ray Wilson were the two big stars early on.
So to the hairpin goes Reece Turner.
51.71 as he searches for 1:22.50, which is second round time. Yeah, he's on course to certainly improve that.
Good camera shots of them coming down the hill. And through the finish line he goes for a 1:21.42.
He certainly improved his time. That's the quickest of the 1300 cars to date.
Coming up to the start line now, Stuart Jack from Rolleston, car number 57. 43-year-old, has raced motorcycles in the 90s, mainly 125 GP bikes. Race cars, mainly a GTR XU1 Tirana and the mainland muscle cars, most South Island circuits, and has raced the Starleton Sprints and Rallycross, and of course the Ashburton Street Sprints as well for Stuart Jack. And sponsored by Smith & Jack Chartered Accountants and Oil Changes in Riccarton.
1:35.33 is what his best time, and it was round 2. So a long way to go really to getting those final few in the class.
As we mentioned, such a big field of 0 to 1300 competitors trying to get into those top 3 for the final run-off tomorrow.
Stops the clock at 56.81.
Nicely around the hairpin, that was a nice job.
Yeah,
So on the downhill run now comes Stuart Jack. And through finish line he comes.
1:39.3. So he really taken 5 seconds off his previous time. So he's got to be pretty pleased with that, doesn't he?
That's a great improvement.
Yeah, it's a great improvement.
Up to the line comes Jay Ritchie in car number 56. Having his first full season this year. First ever rally car for 51-year-old Jay Ritchie. You're never too late to start.
His best time was a 1:29.33.
So he finished 3rd in class in the mainland series this year and is supported by the Dakins Group, Leading Signs and Beard's Collision Centre. So Jay Ritchie heading towards the Hella Hairpin in the Toyota Starlet. And a very nicely prepared Toyota Starlet. Indeed, this one. Nice car.
54.81 to the top. a good time to the top.
54.81, I think that is a improvement.
External results have come back.
Yeah, that's a big improvement. 2 seconds, there or thereabouts, improvement here for Jay Ritchie, so he should be pretty sharp. That will give him a better run down the hill.
And if you're heading out to the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, you will have seen from the pictures on course some great viewing locations at the top of the hill. There's a course that winds its way up through the trees, and plenty of good spectator viewing spots for you to enjoy the action.
A 1:27.4 for Jay Ritchie, which is a 2-second improvement on what he did in the second round.
And here comes Murray Christopherson.
Noddy is known to his old colleagues.
Just helped me make it through round 3.
Murray did a 1:25.18 last time out, so he'll be hoping to get to the low 120s, I suggest.
And we have been advised this is the last qualifying round of the day, so puts a little bit of pressure on people.
2013-14 and was third in class at the Lawrence Rally.
But the organisers had hoped, as you mentioned, Lindsay, to get 4 runs in today, but just 3 qualifying runs.
I have to say it's a big ask, because every year there's incidents and accidents, and with the sun threatening as it does on the course here of Sunstrike, it is very hard to get through 4 runs in one day.
Yep.
Whether they run it tomorrow morning, I'm not sure. So 53.48 for Murray Christopherson at the top of the hill.
53.48, and that's slower to the hairpin.
So he's trying to beat a 122 this year, but a little bit of improvement needed to get down to that.
That was good enough for a 122.93 last time. First time up the hill today.
It's about 3 seconds away last time on his goal. And
He's improved a good by number 1:23.06 for Murray Christopherson.
so now he's a second off his target.
I'm telling you, he'll be pretty pleased with that.
That one, Daniel, in the car battle. Daniel Reynolds was at 122.93 and Murray Christopherson.
As the fast 0 to 1300 cars roll up to the start line now, the first of which is
Peter Murch.
So should have seen Tim Smith. Should have been before car 54.
Tim Smith.
But
So it's Peter Murch and his Suzuki powered Starlet.
so the last 2 years, Peter has finished 3rd in class here, and certainly is amongst the top 3 once again in the 0 to 1300cc battle.
Peter Murch in the grey-white Rangiora Toyota Starlet, lives locally and always a good supporter of this event.
Nice to see a lot of these guys coming back into the sport. As he said, he was away for the sport for way too long, competed in the 80s, took some time out, and now back into it again. Keeping it nice and close around the
I'd just like to mention someone who's not here today, and I hope he comes tomorrow for a while, is our winner back in 2012, John Silcock. John Silcock is recovering from surgery, and we certainly wish John all the best. I know he's chomping to get at the wheel of his RX-7 again. So next year, John, we hope. Righto.
1:17.03. Is it? Oh, that was his best time. 17, sorry, last time.
Yeah, 1:17.52 this time, but his best time was last time at 1:17.03. Another local lad here, and Chris Herdman, who does very well on the mainland rally circuit in this class, and he's been driving in this class for 14 years. That's a pretty good record, isn't it?
Indeed.
He's won this class twice in 2016 and 2017.
It's about as good a getaway as you're going to get away.
Yeah, that's
with
pretty
a
good.
Toyota
Yeah.
Starlet.
Yeah.
So this car was a barn find in 2014, stripped and rebuilt by Chris and a few clever engineer friends, and certainly is one of the most competitive cars currently
You know-
in the 1300 class.
You know, that would be a good title for a book. The number of cars that have come from behind barns, in
Yes.
barns, that have been just left to die, that have been resurrected and built into, beautiful items of machinery. That's worthy of a book, that.
Nicely round the top hairpin for Chris Herdman.
He did a 48.71 to the top, chasing 116.56 from last time.
So who's the fastest? That's the fastest time at the hairpin, is it? I think it looks like.
It is, yes.
For that class?
Yeah, 117.03 from Peter Murch was. Oh, sorry, to the hairpin, sorry.
Chris is,
Yeah, it is.
Chris is onto it.
Yeah, Chris is on to it,
And
right?
whoa, he's come across the line. It's 116.
116.14. That's a good run, Chris Herdman. That is an excellent run.
And that's the last of the 0 to 1300 competitors, and that is
Well, you catch me.
Top time.
You catch me tomorrow, says Chris Herdman. That's all I can say.
catch me if you can.
Catch me if you can, fellas.
That's in 1600 from Window Tint South, Placemakers in Invercargill and iHire.
Timo Seller.
Support the car of Brendan Mitchell from Winton in Southland.
I'll tell you a story about Timo Seller, Grant, if I can talk on this medium for it.
Yes.
A wonderful guy to talk to was Timo Selner, and I learnt tricks from the British journalists that came out here about how to get drivers to talk. And with Timo Selner, he was a heavy smoker, and they said, "You want to know how to get Timo Selner to talk? Get a service break, offer him a cigarette, and he'll chirp and chirp and chirp." And he did. I got some wonderful quotes from Timo Selner by offering him a cigarette. Others you didn't give cigarettes, you gave lollies and things. Chewing gum and lollies. They all talk.
You probably have to give him a vape thing today.
Apart from Marco Elaine, he was the hardest.
Round the hairpin. Oh, 48.99. The tricks of the trade, Lindsay.
Things you learn over the years.
Beautifully presented. That's in 1600 for Brendan Mitchell.
Yeah, I love that car, I really do. 117.58, so he's fraction quicker than he was last time. So he'll take that forward to tomorrow.
As car number 50, Jared Glass, comes up to the start line. Sponsored by BTEC Bearing and Engineering Technologies, Calder Elco Motors, and Tyre Power Otago.
Jared Glass from Mosgiel, south of Dunedin. Done pretty much club stuff with hill climbs and rally sprints and a few rallies. It's his first time here at Ashley Forest.
What a glorious day it is here at North Canterbury, just seeing the sun shining through the trees on the uphill part of the course.
And it's about to cool down a bit, Grant, as
Yes.
that sun starts to disappear.
Yes, we've certainly had some warm days here in the last week, but equally some pretty frosty and chilly starts to the morning.
What we would like is a shower of rain overnight, just to settle. Whoa!
And he's had a wee bit of a whoopsie up at the hairpin.
Oh, what a
There's
shame.
Jared Glass.
He put in a 51.15, but he has been slowed considerably by that having to back off.
Back off, back up, and get going again.
He's chasing a 118.94. from round 2. So, 1:25.78, which is his slowest time of the day. So he'll go forward with it with his 1:18.94 as the quickest.
As car 49, Michael Veronese comes to the start line, 27-year-old from Christchurch, and a 91 Toyota Levin AE92 coupe. No, it's Jody Brensel is coming up to the start line. Jonty Brensel, rather.
Johnny Brensel from Canvasstown in Marlborough, who chases a 1:13.76. Jonty is involved with the what's the infamous, the famous Owen brothers from Blenheim. This is his second year in this car. This car was Jason Clark's, and it was Murray Christopherson's at the beginning of his rally life.
He ran a Civic club car before switching from the Honda to the Toyota Starlet. Finished first in class, Ashley Forest here last year. First in class at Westland Rally this year, 12th overall. Second overall at the Christie's Road 2019 this year, and first in class in the Top of the South Rally Sprint Series last year.
Johnny did a 47.57 to the top as he chases his 1:13.76 from round 2.
So Jonty Brensel comes over the finish line.
1:14.49, so it's not as quick as his first time, so he'll go forward with 1:13.76 as his quickest time of the day.
So how many out of the not too many going a wee bit quicker?
No,
the
they're
odd
not
one.
now.
No.
Okay, we're going to find a official vehicle. We'll go to the hairpin just to check that that tyre. I suggest what's
and
going
also
on.
The sunstrike they mentioned
We've
as
got,
well.
yeah,
so,
okay. We've got sunstrike issues as we figured was going to happen. And for those of you that locals that go to Ruapuna, you know this time of the day the old sunstrike at the end of the main straight becomes an issue. So we face the same situation here at Ashley. What the sun is indeed like. I'd say it would be still okay. It's only 3:15. It won't be far away from becoming a worry, I think.
Okay. So you can see the course car at the moment, just as we say, checking for sunstrike. Certainly not the type of course that you would want to be blinded by the sun on.
Not at all.
A few people milling around.
You be careful. You be careful.
Plenty of people enjoying the spectator spots up and down the hill course here in Ashley Forest. And of course, as we mentioned, at the bottom of the course where the pits are, plenty of food and refreshments, and such a lovely day to be coming out and enjoying the motorsport action here at the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. And seeing some of these cars, which of course you only see at an event like this, the hill climb specials don't come out for anything else. So,
well, there's a bit of resurgence in hill climb. Hill climb's, you know, one of the foundation parts of the sport, and you know, beach racing and hill climbs, and we're out of fashion really, but they're sort of back in vogue a bit now because there's the Hill Climb Championship still exists now, and yeah, I think it's a pretty cheap way to get your motorsport.
Well, shortly we'll be up on the Belfast Tourist License 2-wheel drive park.
So just waiting for
Verdict.
Certainly a great battle at this stage in the Belfast Tourist Class.
just waiting for the next cars to come through, and I guess we'll have the Toyota Celica of Dave McMillan. I think it should be coming to the start line next. Everything has been given the all clear. Just looking down here at the start line, and obviously those cars digging a wee bit of a trench as they launch, so no wonder the little 1300s have a wee bit of a bog down getting off the start line. But yes, here comes the Celica of Dave McMillan from Greymouth.
And this superbly kitted out Toyota. Yes, this was you're right, Grant, the Celica, this was the model after this was radically changed, wasn't it?
Yes.
In design.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I correct now. Yeah, Baldergard did one in the Celica. It was the last of the Celicas.
And then they went to the
last
drive.
of, yeah, that's right.
Two-wheel drive.
Because you are Kanken came with him for the first time.
Correct.
That car as well.
Above the Celica, an RX3.
Dave McMillan chasing 121.22. Let's just check the sun up the top. See how it looks from our angle here with the camera. It mightn't be able to pick it up. So far very good because you're shrouded by the trees still at the moment as they go up through grippers.
And it's just as you get, I
It's
guess,
just
out
as
of
they
here to
come
the
out,
hairpin.
yeah, as they come out of the trees here, it's here, right here now. Yeah, that looks, it could be a bit of it, just before you get the hairpin, it could be an issue, but that's all right. 53.06 for Dave McMillan.
So he's certainly driven some interesting vehicles in his time, has Dave.
Well, I reckon he did a
started in
Mitsubishi
a
Lancer. Oh yeah,
Triumph Hill
Did
in
he
69.
run a Lancer?
First Rally 79 in a Prefect, then a Hillman Hunter, then an EX Lancer, correct?
Yeah, he did Rally New Zealand a Lancer too.
An RX3, an RX7, a Holden Monaro,
A bit slower for Dave at a 122.5. So
and the Celica.
his
he's got
time
here.
of 121.22 is in fact his quickest time of the day, which was in round 2. So yeah, they are slowing a bit, Grant, and I'm not sure what it is, because it's certainly it's been swept quite nicely now, the course.
Just wondering how much the two-wheel drives are losing off the start line,
Well,
because
it's getting
they're bogging
deeper
down
and deeper,
now,
yeah, and that could be your answer actually.
could be a couple of seconds lost there.
Yeah.
Wheel spinning.
So here we have Bruce McMillan here from Leaston in the RX3. Good old RX3. What are your memories of Leaston? I'm thinking that Bruce McMillan. No. Yeah, Bruce McMillan. I wonder if he's a relation of Lyle McMillan, who was also from down that way. He was a pioneer, really, of rallying in Canterbury, one of the early guys, and he would be about that age. Maybe not. Anyway, Bruce was ridden solo bikes at the Speedway for a decade, and his rally work has been with hill climbs and sprints. And again, I talk about the hill climbs and sprints coming back into vogue, Grant.
Yes.
It's a cheap form of, well, not cheap, but it's, you know, it is a cheap form of rallying, is doing hill climbs and sprints.
Nice to be around the hairpin.
Yeah.
And
So
I guess-
119.63 to the what he's chasing. He did a 52.28 to the top.
I guess maybe if full length rallies are harder to come by. Maybe more people are, in fact,
Well,
coming towards sprints.
I look what's going on in the lower North Island there,
Yes.
and whilst I find it disturbing that it's come to that, you like to think that we've got the forest here for a long time, but we have to behave ourselves. No, slower.
121, yeah. So another one
121.48. Yeah, talk about this. It really puts in perspective, Grant, the value of having access to a forest like this.
Yes.
And how we, as I say, we as the motorsport fraternity have to behave ourselves and look after this forest.
Gordon Beebe and the Datsun 120Y.
Gordon Beebe from Timaru, and 120Y in body shape only. It's powered by a 2-litre twin cam. The 120Y superseded the Datsun 1200. Never could match the Datsun 1200. It was a lighter car, the 1200. It's quite a heavy car, the 120Y. But Gordon's got this car going very well. It looks beautiful, this car too.
Oh, it's nice lines going up
great
through
job.
here. It's looking nice.
So he's chasing a 115.5. Gets the top. He gets the top in a 46.87.
So this car built up 10 years ago for classic rallying.
There we go. He's improved a 114.42. So that's actually a second he's clipped off his previous time. So he'll be pleased with that.
He looked very nice going
He
on the
actually
uphill run.
broke the trend there, didn't he? Broke the trend of them being a bit slower.
Yes.
Right, so here we have Stuart Reid from Brisbane and this beautiful Mark II Escort, 2-litre Escort. The ex-Marion Evans Escort. This car was built in Wales by Tim McIver. It's the first time it's been here to Ashley Forest.
So,
I mean, he did this last time to us, folks. We're just shrouded in dust here in our beautiful new horse float.
calling you Dusty before the end of the day.
Blimmin' Aussies. Hey, they cause trouble wherever they go. Another example. Nobody else does this to us.
He's certainly throwing plenty of dust out there too. He's got this.
Here he
car
goes with
wound
a
up.
45.93 at the top for Stuart Reid and the Mark II Escort. Chasing a 113.56 that he recorded in round 2.
And he comes across the finish line, and Stuart Reid does
Just under 113.54, which just eclipses 200th of a second.
under his time. If you're watching on our live streaming coverage, as I say, you're most welcome to send a comment in. A special good afternoon to Charlene Chapman, watching from the Pleasant Point pub. Good on you. Nice to have you with us. G'day Robin Williams from Riverton. Carl Brown watching in the Grand Cayman Islands. So it looks like we have heard that there's going to be a break for maybe 10 to 15 minutes due to the sun strike. So could well be an issue with why some of the times are going a wee bit slower as well, Lindsay.
Yeah, yes, maybe.
Well, it's going to get really exciting tomorrow because of the elimination. There's some of the cars you may have seen once tomorrow. Some get eliminated.
So we'll just wait for the organisers to let the cars run again on the course. We're just taking a short break due to potential sunstrike at the top of the course, so we'll be back with you shortly. And a very good afternoon and welcome back to the Winmax Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. We just had a short break in the proceedings on our final qualifying run for the day. Several of the drivers went off on the uphill part of the course with sunstrike. Just speaking to one of the drivers who suddenly hit the corner, sunstrike, took out 3 marker posts, doesn't know how he managed to get back on the road, and said 3 of them in a row had suffered with sunstrike issues at the first major corner on the uphill part of the course, which is unfortunately in the blind spot of our coverage, but that's where most of the incidents occurred and caused the organisers to delay proceedings until the sun moves a little further around and to get rid of the sunstrike issue. Just while we wait for the next competitor to come up to the line for the third qualifying run, just a few more calls and comments that have come in from people watching around the world, around New Zealand, watching from Western Resort in Fiji, says Ashley Sim. A very good afternoon to you. Watching from British Columbia. Nicholas, good afternoon. Watching from Ireland, says Brendan McCulloch. Watching Baby Blue, no doubt. Maybe you wanted to come back home.
Maybe you're right.
Hello from Moriwa, Lower Hutt, to Jonathan Buck. Nice to have you with us. And Trish Best is watching from Ashburton. More calls from Canada. Brett Marshall, who's watching in the Naki. Good luck and have some fun, says Wayne Carmichael. We're certainly doing that, just waiting for the action to come back online. And it'll be, someone said it'll be dark before the end of run 4. Well, we're not having run 4. It might even be dark by the time we get to the end of run 3 at this rate. But as we mentioned, just the sunstrike issues causing a few problems on the course. So we're just waiting for them to give the go-ahead, as we have just started the probably 20 cars through so far in the qualifying round 3, which will be the final qualifying round for today. And then tomorrow, the first qualifying round gets underway and then the eliminations begin. So they'll be all trying to get into the top 32 tomorrow morning. And then of course it goes top 16, top 8, top 4 and top 2. And of course the drivers have to keep going fast enough to stay in the competition and not be eliminated. So it's still a lovely day here in North Canterbury. It certainly is chilling down a wee bit, Lindsay. Time to grab the jackets out again.
It is time to grab the jackets out again. Yeah, cool down all right. The sun's okay in the sun, but we're out of the sun now. There's big pine trees in our way now.
And just while I can hear a car, I think, coming up towards the start line, but another special shout out to Winmax brake pads and Hayden Rally Sport for supporting this event and sponsoring it, and of course for Hayden to bring his Hyundai AP4+++. I think it's got a few pluses after it now, and great to see him and Sloane Cox, who are the obvious contenders to be fighting out for the win here at Ashley Forest this weekend. So Winmax brakes pads, performance brake pads for any car and any application, of course. Superior quality Japanese pads, and they are available at competitor friendly prices. It's used by Hayden Padden, used in TCR, World Rally cars, used all around the world. High bite, strong driver feedback, less wear, and a greater range of operating temperatures. Fit Winmax brake pads to your competition car.
How'd your Corona go on those, Grant?
Don't know if it gets enough speed to be able to stop. Don't they say brakes are the enemy of speed?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So, still, as we say, waiting for the competition to resume here in qualifying round 3. And a special call out also to the MoMac crew bringing the live coverage to you this afternoon. from Ryan, who's the producer, the owner of MoMac, Tony, the technical producer. We've got Chucky. Chucky's in charge, of course.
Who?
Chucky's in charge.
Oh, Chucky's in charge.
Chucky's in charge.
Got a ring about it, isn't it?
And on the cameras we have Todd, James, Dale, Blake, and Matt. Sheridan and Anaru are doing the runners for us, keeping us in touch. And while we wait for the action to resume, we have Sloane Cox coming over to have a chat with us, and it's nice to see Sloane back down here to the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. Sloane, welcome back. It's been a year since we've seen you last time down here, so tell us what's happened in Sloane's year for the last year.
It's been, motorsport-wise, been quite quiet. Work's been busy, but that's what we do to pay for this love of motorsport we have. But Leadfoot went well for us. Haven't done anything overseas this year, not like I did in 2018. Still would love to open some doors overseas, but we're concentrating more on our hill climb beast and doing events like this, the Ashley Forest, and it's what we love. We've come back here more geared up than ever.
Indeed. Just talk us through, you were in the RX Academy last year doing the Rally Sprint Academy?
Rallycross.
Rallycross
yes,
Academy.
yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what your experiences were like and how you see that as a future in the sport.
It was actually amazing in the RX Academy when we found that as a academy in Europe. We thought that'd be wicked to do. It was front wheel drive, so it was a big change going back to front wheel drive. It's actually the reason why the Evo 10 is front wheel drive right now. We used it as a bit of testing, and we went on to home between events. We jumped in that because the championship is a one-make Renault Clio championship. So it was awesome. We opened some good doors and would love to have gone back there. We had a chance of doing the academy again. We felt it wasn't quite right for where we were, but the step up was quite a large step. So we thought we'll stay in New Zealand this year and see what contacts we can carry on with and make.
What was your feeling on the competition overseas? Was it tougher than you expected? How did you find it?
Yeah, it was unusual and we didn't know what we're going into. I was the oldest driver there. The team even said they could see my maturity, they could see where I was different. But the young drivers over there, they're crazy quick. They're brought up from a young age. They have motorsport academies like we have our rugby academies. Motorsport is their main sport. So you'll find of young kids who, some of them can be professionals at 16 because they've got the backing, they've got the contacts, and they can drive. That's the biggest thing. So we never used age as a disadvantage. We knew the maturity side, what I've learned through time, driving a hill climb beast. That's a 800 horsepower thing, though people over there haven't even thought about driving a car at that point. So what I was used to was more a supercar, but to get to a supercar in rallycross, you have to work up the list, and it's big money to get to a supercar. So that's where we ideally would like to have hit, and we still would like to get in the car one day over in Europe and see what we can do.
Coming back to Ashley Forest here and the car that everybody's come to see, obviously it's the fight between yourself and Hayden. This is the draw card for the weekend, really.
Yep.
So just talk us through the car from the time that you first built it as a hill climb special, and how much further have you gone with that car now to where you are today?
Yeah, it was quite interesting. The car was built as a hill climb car, but when we brought it, it had just been a circuit car for 2 years. So we knew the base was good for hill climb, so we got it back. We got it back to hill climb spec, and at first we didn't know where we were heading with it. Drove it, we knew it was an unreal car, but when we got to fast stage, the second time here, we broke the record, and we didn't quite do much development after that. It was about getting good power, making it reliable, and we found we could make 500 kilowatt and reliable power. We haven't had too much problems with engines, and that was the biggest key. But then 2 years ago, look at Hayden coming with a big aero kit. We're thinking he's got the aero, but we're missing it. So our biggest aim this year was to get some big aero on it. We haven't had it designed up properly, but we've worked on some basic concepts what other people use to get grip down the road, and it proves that our aero this year is definitely working. We know that we've come a long way, but still now a lot more in development to really make that power stick on the road.
What would you like? What's the next step of development you'd like to see in the car?
Biggest for now is just getting the suspension and aero to work together. So we know we keep saying we could push more power, but there is no need to. We've just got to get it handling right. Tarmac for Leadfoot Festival, we're still struggling a little bit. Tarmac's not quite what we know, gravel's what we know, but down here we just want to make sure the car can keep working together. We don't big front nose, we don't want to be braking with soft suspension and bending the front under because the bottom's out on one of these big holes up here. So it's just a combination package of getting it working together, and right now it's just using aluminium as our aero kit, but there's a carbon fibre. Maybe one day make it lighter, make it stronger. So we'll just keep working on the aero and making the car work with it.
And all the development is just in-house
Yep, we do it in-house at
Yeah.
Tesla Engineering. Big help from D-Tech Motorsport, who tune our car. Dave from there does a lot of work with motorsport all around the world, and he understands it, I guess, a lot more than us. We're an engineering company, so we can build it, what we get told to, and we work on some basic theories, and from there, and in the future, we'll start getting a bit more developed by maybe CAD work, and then see what happens from there.
Ashley Forest, what's the secret to being fast here?
Clean. It's clean. If you've got the power and you've got a good handling car, you can have a clean run. Even me, I know the road quite well, and I still up at the first straight. If I get it wrong, I fall offline. I'm trying to pull sixth gear on loose stuff, so you know you're not making the time. So it's about clean driving and getting it right. That elimination we got knocked out last year. We had a set of diff pump blows in front wheel drive, then combination of clipping that inside, turning me around, and we broke a rear arm all in one run. It shows that if it was a little bit cleaner, maybe we would have got through, fixed the car, and carried on. So it's about being clean to break that record.
And of course, it's 40 years since the first event, although this is the 33rd year of the rally sprint here. I mean, the trees have grown up, they've come down, they've grown up again, but the road stays the same. Does it actually alter much year on year?
I don't think so. They can do a lot of prep work leading up, but still we're going to rut it out. You're going to get those ruts, and then you're going to find the hard stuff. You kind of know the key points. I know on the finish line, it's quite a fast finish, and you spent quite a little bit of hole there to fill it in now, so you get a bit more confidence seeing little things like that on the recce run. But each year it's pretty much the same, so you look for maybe that little bit of hole that's appeared, maybe see stuff you haven't seen before. But if you keep it tight, it's all the same, and just watch it for the sunstrike like what's happening right now.
Yeah, indeed. And what's the mind game for yourself when you're going into an event like this? How do you approach the? I mean, you obviously don't come out all guns blazing on the first run. It's a work up, slowly progress. Is it? Do you feed more power to the car, more into you? How do you take the weekend?
That's definitely right. This year, leading up to the start line in the hill climb car, we didn't know what to expect. We had aero on it, and we're like, wow, this is going to be a different car. We know the car was longer, so we couldn't cut in as tight. So that first run, I took it quite easy. Like, it was a really easy run, and still be under a minute. I was amazed. So the next run, we came in a little bit harder. Still got a lot more up the sleeve, but dropped, I think it was 2 seconds or more. I can't remember what it was now, but it's a brilliant time knowing there's more in it. So you really got the mind to understand maybe a different car. It's been a year since you've been on this road, but you don't want to lift right off. It's going to be that cautious braking points and nice turn-in points. And then you get more confidence each run to push it a little bit harder, break that a little bit later, and go that little bit faster.
Yeah. Can you break the record this year?
Yeah, we definitely think we're capable. We thought we could last year, but the weekend didn't go to plan and got eliminated early. But this weekend, things are falling into place earlier than last year. We know we've got the time there. We know we can break it. So we think this year is the year to drop another second off that record.
A lot of viewers watching from around New Zealand and even around the world for that matter. But what other events are people likely to see this car at?
For now, this car is just doing high promotional hill climb events. So Leaffoot Festival up in Hahei in February, that's the other key event. For us, it's the opposite event to this. Same car, but tarmac, but big following. But for now, just those 2 events. We do CRC Speed Show as a bit of promotional work for ourselves in front of a crowd in Auckland. They love us there. But apart from that, there's not too many events this car goes to. We're really trying to find what's worthwhile. Always thought about sending it to Australia, finding some events there. But we'll just do some research and see what's got a big following, just like this one, and we'll start going to those events. Hayden wants to bring some more events like that here, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get to some in the future.
Yeah. And preparation for an event like this, I mean, it's one weekend, but it takes a lot more than that to get a car ready to come down here.
That's right. It's been really busy at work, so I had some long hours at work getting the work stuff done. But about a month before this, I ended up full-time on the car just to get it ready. But it's what you got to do. You can't just do a little bit every day after work because you get too tired. You have to really commit to it full-time, build the car, get it ready, and then come here and do what you do. So it is a lot of work to get a car like that. And bringing 2 cars this weekend was a bit of a change. It was a last-minute call to bring the Evo 10 in front-wheel drive, but it was a good call and we're having fun.
Yep. So with the front-wheel drive car, what's your ambition for the weekend there?
Ideally, we'll love to see if we can get to the record, but first year, we don't know. If we get close to it, we may do some upgrades and bring it back next year. But we lose a lot of time on this first uphill, so after that, it's about where can we make time. It's quite a modern car, really good handling, so after that, we really got to commit. So for now, we are quite a way away from it, but we never expect to break it on the first year. Exactly how the hill climb car worked. First year we didn't. Second year we came back and broke it. So if we go well this weekend, we get close to it, we may come back with some developed two-wheel drive in that Evo 10 and see what we can do.
So the two-wheel drive is front-wheel drive?
Yes, that's right.
What made you obviously for what you were doing in the academy, would you turn it back to rear-wheel drive? Do you see is there any advantage either way being front or rear in that car?
Yeah, Evo being four-wheel drive, it's more, Evos are more predominantly front-wheel drive, so if you try rear drive, it can work, but it weakens quite a bit. You're more likely to break stuff. But we are likely breaking front wheel drive too, but we think the car works a lot better front wheel drive. The time where you lose it is on this uphill. Rear drive is known to squat and bite, where the front wheel drive doesn't quite do that, but once you're moving, it's easier to drive, and front wheel drives are closer to four wheel drives.
Brilliant. Oh, look, it's been a pleasure having you back here. Thank you for coming and sharing all the news about your car.
Yep, thank you for your time.
It's an exciting car to watch. It looks absolutely splendid too. The colour scheme looks great.
Thank you. You absolutely love it, and the few aero changes this year really makes it stand out. So we can't wait for another good weekend.
Stand on it, give it heaps.
Thanks,
Thanks,
you.
Sloane. There we are. Sloane Cox. Nice to have Sloane Cox here to have a chat with us while we wait for the sunstrike problem to abate and the first cars to come back to finish their third qualifying run here at Ashley Forest. And of course, where Sloane was joining us is in the Wild Trailers horse float, and we'd like to thank Paul and Nicola once again from Wild Trailers and 300 Flaxton Road for providing this magnificent little home away from home for us for the weekend here. Magnificent horse float, and if you are on the market for a horse float, you're coming out this weekend, do come and have a look at the Wild Trailer horse float here, which is our headquarters for the MoMac live streaming coverage of Ashley Forest. So still some time yet, still no cars appear to be getting set to come onto the course. We'll just take a short break and be back with you very soon. And a very good afternoon and welcome back to the Winmax brake pads Ashley Forest Rally Sprint for 2019. The sun has moved around sufficiently now that they can commence the rest of the third qualifying run here today. So the drivers are just heading down the warm-up road to get the cars warmed up, tyres warmed up, and I think the first competitor we should have coming up
Car
to the
43
line.
Phil Walker, I make it.
Car 43 Phil Walker, indeed.
On the RX7. So 43 to go.
So it is a venue, Lindsay, where obviously sunstrike can be a bit of a problem at a certain time of the day.
Yeah, well, obviously it is very obviously today because there's been no cloud base at all today, and it certainly surfaced. And I suggest they're going to have to think about having only just the 3 rounds still. You couldn't get 4 in today.
No.
We had the problem last year. I know they're keen to give everyone, you know, best bang for their buck and giving them runs, but they've got to be realistic about this, I think, now.
And of course the sunstrike spot was in fact on the first major corner on the way on the uphill course.
As opposed to the hairpin.
So the corner that's in our blind spot coverage, so we didn't see all the action that was happening there. But 3 cars in a row went off the road collecting marker posts, and so wisely the officials decided to call a halt to proceedings until the sun moved around and the course became safe for the drivers. So Phil Walker comes up to the start line now, car number 43, the 1978 Mazda RX-7. Phil Walker was supported by Belfast Auto Electrical, Justin Neal Engineering, State Glass, Pultec and Belfast Storage. 53 years of age for Phil.
Yeah, Phil's best time was in round 1 with a 1:13.31. Second round was 1:15, so he was looking for, I guess, a 1:12. But we're not sure how things will play out now, Grant. With they were quite a bit slower than the round 2, the one so far. But things could have changed again now.
That was your Victor, the Belfast Storage Classic 2-wheel drive class that year.
And he reaches the top.
Oh, he's nudged
45.45 to the top.
and he's nudged the tyre barrier as well. He's moved the tyre a little bit in the process.
Now, Phil Walker is next Formula Ford driver.
And you can certainly see the road is sweeping for sure. Just while we wait for Phil Walker to come on the downhill run. He's through.
1:14.45, so he's in between his first 2 runs there.
G'day Gary from Wellington. Gary Innes, nice to have you with us. Gary suggested putting the sunglasses on. Watching from Tuakau, Chris Reed, nice to have you with us, Chris. Watching from Barbados, says Jamal Bascom, nice to have you with us. TWM Racing, ex-Cantabrian, living in Perth. We'll be enjoying watching the sunshine here from Ashley Forest, although it is getting a little cool now, probably not as cool as, it'll be a lot warmer in Perth, no doubt. Nice to have you with us. Sonny Nelson, g'day Phil McManus. And
Just go back, there was one there from Mexico.
greetings from Mexico.
Hazel Riviera. Hazel Riviera, hi, greetings from Mexico.
When Phil Walker won the Belfast Storage Classic class 2 or 3 years
And
back.
g'day to Pete's, watching at the James Creek Marina in Washington DC.
How wonderful is that?
So just amazing where people are watching from in and around the world, Ireland, Fiji, and around New Zealand, from Ashburton to Tuakau to Lower Hutt, everywhere and every place in between. Nice to have you with us on the live streaming coverage. So the truck's just putting the tyre back into place up at the hairpin after it got a little nudge by Phil Walker. So now we wait for the next RX-7 to come up to the start line, and that will be Bert Murray in the ex-Richard Kelsey factory spec Group B Mazda RX-7. Of course, Bert owns this RX-7 as well as the very well-known main freight Mazda RX-7 built by Neil Allport and successfully rallied to New Zealand titles back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Indeed, it was back in the day.
That was certainly quite some car when the main freight Mazda RX-7 hit the rally scene in New Zealand, which really had been dominated by escorts up until that point. So here he is, Bert Murray from Waimate. Car looking splendid in the official Mazda colours back when Rod Millen ran these cars successfully. And plenty of dust off the start line for this one. Oh, slightly missed.
So his best time was a 1:11.46.
An ex-Central Region Rally Champion, 2006 New Zealand Classic Champion. Of course, that was in the main freight Mazda RX-7 we spoke of. You can see them coming up here now, Lindsay. The trees are it's a lot more shaded on the road.
Certainly, as you can tell now, of course. But I couldn't quite work out where that sunstripe walk to the hairpin looked okay. Oh, Murray, Murray goes very wide as he heads into the hairpin with a time of 44.81 to the top.
So waiting for the RX-7 to head down the hill. And down the hill comes Bert Murray.
1:11.46, which is the same, I beg your pardon, 1:12.22, which sits in between his first two runs. So that's a bit of a pattern. The pattern's carried on actually from the rest of the rounds. They are a bit slower.
So car 40, this is Kirk Aikman from Te Puke in the Primera. So just reading about the history of this particular car, Lindsay, it says the Waimate 50 has two matching Nissan Primeras built to encourage new people into motorsport, help with driver training and also promote the Waimate 50 brand. The cars were built to the 2K Cup specification, so basically standard Primera, improved springs and tyres and the all-important safety gear. Racecraft and the membership, of course, as we mentioned, comes from that racing legend Jimmy Little.
Well, I applaud what they're trying to achieve. I just find the Primera a strange example to be using. Would you?
Indeed. It is a bit.
Not really well known for motorsport, the Primera. And again, we talk about Jason Richards and Angus Fogg when they drove for Team Kiwi in the New Zealand Touring Car Championship.
I suppose those Nissan Primera British touring cars back in the day were pretty, with Andy
Andy Rouse.
Did
Did
not Andy.
they drive Primeras?
There were Primeras in the British Touring Car Championship. Just trying to think who drove.
Stephen Richards drove one in Australia.
Yes, that's right.
And this part
Yeah.
of the world, New Zealand, we're not used to them. You know.
So anyway,
Rightio,
we don't see them on gravel that often.
No.
But here's one.
Kirk's done a 1:25.6, so he's 3 seconds quicker than his second time around. So people are making liars of us in some ways, but
So here comes Paul Cox to the line now and Run Euro, the first of the turbo cars for this afternoon. I just wonder how this cooler air will, the turbos will be liking that. No doubt.
yeah, the turbos are like this one, cooler.
So Paul Cox heads up the rally sprint course.
Chasing a 1:18.06. No, 1:17.45 was in round one, I beg your pardon. 1:17.45 was Paul's best time.
Prior to the rally sprint here, this car has only done one event, which was the Cust Sprint. And now out here for the Winmax brake pads, Ashley Forest Rally Sprinters. Paul Cox heads up to the hairpin. And nicely around the hairpin.
46.63 to the top.
Of course, Coxie has also raced the modified sprint for Autotech Services out at Ruapuna Speedway.
Indeed he has. And a 1:14.93, so Coxie has whacked about 2.5 seconds off his best time. So 1:14.93 for Cox. Next up we have Jeff Coombe from Ambley. Jeff has been around for a long time. First and foremost in the 1300 class, which he campaigned for years. Now he's upgraded himself to a 2-litre Suzuki. Yeah, we can't get off the line pretty well there, Grant. It's indeed. Didn't get bogged down at all. He feathered that nicely.
So this car started its competition life in the North Island. Got fourth in the two-wheel drive New Zealand Hill Climb Championship a year or two ago. "31 years in race and rallying for Jeff Coombe." So it's sponsored here this weekend by Skip to You, SAS and Kennelly Cams.
48.15 to the top for Jeff Coombe. Chasing 1:20.2.
Down towards the finish line comes Jeff Coombe. Nice tidy run on the downhill.
1:17.83, so he's took 2.5 seconds off his previous best time. That's a good run for the wee car.
As Baby Blue comes up to the line, Frank Kelly's Baby Blue, now in the hands of Gary Hawkes from Christchurch, car number 37. Gary's done this event many times, made the top 4 in 2013 and won the two-wheel drive historic class in 2013, just missed out on the top 8 in 2015 and 16. So it's still got its door banner on there from so certainly not short on noise. and not short on gears with a 6-speed sequential box.
Gary's best time today is a 1:13.04. No, you're right about no shortage of noise.
Or dust for that matter, thanks very
Or
much.
dust. It's been the story of the escorts. My gosh, they create dust at the start. Goes up through grippers, into the top, and he'll go round in the time.
Nicely round the
oh, nicely round on 45.09.
Heading towards the finish line now for Gary Hawkes.
No, he's a bit slow, 1:14.02, so he's a second down on what he did last time.
As the battle of the BMWs come up to the start line, the first one of which is Gary Reid from Invercargill at car number 36.
And the gentlemanly 328i. .1:16.6, 1:16.44 is Gavin Reid's best time to date.
Second time here at Ashley Forest, had such a blast last year, he's decided to come back, and why wouldn't you?
Indeed, why wouldn't you? It's like we come back.
Yeah. Exactly. So last year he missed out on the open two-wheel drive shootout after a poor Sunday morning run after sitting second overnight. So you'll want to be out of bed nice and early tomorrow morning.
We'll go a bit earlier anyway.
Yeah.
And he's about 45.8 to the top. A bit awkward at the top there. The big car didn't like the hairpin very much.
Just a stock standard 2.8 straight 6 in this car with a change of manifold, otherwise she's bulk standard.
There's no mongrel element in this car, that's for sure. And a 1:12.75, a good time for Gavin Reid, a very good time. That's 3.5 seconds, it's off his best time. Great.
I see he's sponsored by Tint South, Window Tint South. He probably needed a bit of that
Well,
today.
maybe it was a secret.
As-
Right, next we have is Ari Pettigrew. Ari, who has been a gun in this car, a revelation actually, but unfortunately hadn't had the chance to really go any further.
And he's taking my granddaughter for a ride
Oh,
this
wow,
time.
taking
So
Grant's
this
granddaughter
is
for a ride.
Georgia's first ride in a rally car.
Ari did a 1:14.64. So Gavin Reid has certainly lain down the gauntlet, hasn't he?
So considering his first event in a rally car was the 2016 Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, he's done very well, grass karting since the age of 4. So this is a fairly new car. It's been rebuilt after the engine blew on this car at Otago Rally. So nice to see Ari back.
It is nice to see Ari back behind the wheel of this car.
And of course no guessing as to who Ari was named after.
No. Here we go with the hairpin. Very tidy.
Nice. Now that's how you get a big car
45,
around the hairpin.
yeah, 45.31. So he's half a second up on Gavin Reid.
Must be that lightweight co-driver.
Aha, indeed.
She normally doesn't stop talking, but I don't think there'd be too much talking going on right now. So here we are, Ari and Georgia
Ari,
across the finish line.
he
Lights
puts
and
in a-
rays.
He puts in a 1:11.82. So he's gone a second faster than Gavin Reid and almost 3 seconds faster than his last run.
Well, here we are. Showing off Showing off to the girls.
Yes.
That's it.
She'll be all full of talk now, Grant.
Yeah, that's right. We slowly initiate all the family into the sport somehow or another.
Very good.
All right, here comes the Batmobile. Batman.
You're very lucky, Grant. A chance for me to have to do the same thing would be marvellous. So you make the most of your family being able to have a chance at this.
So this car has been built by Q Sport, an ongoing build and development program for the last few years. Superbly turned out looking car, and as of course we mentioned, Job Quintock is also competing in a Skoda AP4 car in the New Zealand Rally Championship, and that he'll be heading back up the North Island to Rally Waitomo, the final round of the New Zealand Championship. So nicely round, very nicely round the Hella hairpin.
And we have a Skoda patron in the box with us here now, as in Chuck.
Totally.
Totally. Absolutely.
So 43.98.
9.8, yeah. So here he comes.
25-year-old from Ahuka.
A 110.9, so he's substantially improved as well.
There we go. Next, coming up to the line should be Robert McCallum, Christchurch in the Ford Escort.
I heard some comments about this car before, talking to the masses on the sideline here, and some of the experts reckon this is probably the best of the rear-wheel drive cars here.
Oh, listen to nice.
It is beautiful.
You can hear the benefits of that 6-speed sequential box on that car.
Oh yeah, Robert McCallum here, been rallying for a long time, 30 years plus. And actually he drove a Mark 1 Escort, but yeah, this car is beautiful. 2.5 litre.
Yep, Duratec.
So it's not your standard even BDA or, you know, it's up there, this one.
320 horsepower.
What's in it, do we know?
320 horsepower, Duratec.
Duratec, yeah. I wonder it sounds so good off the mark, doesn't it?
Oh, he's flying down the hill.
Yeah. A 42.22 at the top.
I think he's just made a new groove.
Yeah, oh, he is flowing. A 107.34. He's went over 3 seconds off.
Well, there you go.
Man. Yes, my words of encouragement at the start were very true. That is a great time, that. 107.34.
And here comes Sloane Cox with the 2-wheel drive version of the Evo 10. As he was telling us, front wheel drive. And the reasons why it went front and not rear. Obviously fits the mechanical engineering of the car a whole lot better. And kicking up a lot of dust off those front wheels. Sloane Cox heads up the course. Just see a wee bit of dust hanging on the course now. Not enough to cause any issues, but
No.
Hello.
Yeah.
I
I think he'd come unstuck.
it's just moved out of the corner of the frame.
Yeah.
Did he spin? He might have just
spun.
spun, I think, and he's on the way back.
On the way back, yeah.
And
He's spun, and is there a bit of damage there? The right front? Yes, there is. Yeah, right front, the same place.
Well, best to check it out in front of this car, not the other one.
Jam's paying up.
But,
Alright.
oh yeah,
yeah, she's
had a bit of a whack.
He had a whack all right. So he'll just drift down the mountain here. And just about taking the cooler out. Just about taking your oil cooler out there.
Not happy.
So, having a bit of trouble slowing that one down.
You all right?
So,
Maybe didn't have brakes.
yeah. That certainly didn't look like it.
Pretty untidy.
He might have taken them out of that ring.
Yeah.
Could have well done.
Right, Chris Hay from Mosgiel. Chris Hay in the MR2 with all the new wings everywhere. Wings and splitters and spoilers, and Chris Hay, our two-wheel record holder. 102.15 is course record set by Chris Hay. Chris 105.46. Let's see how close he can get to his record of 102.46. Maybe it'll come tomorrow as opposed to tonight. 102.15, I beg your pardon, is what Chris Hay set to break the record last year.
So, 2.2 litre Infinity engine, turbocharged in this car. And as he heads up to the Hella hairpin,
39.43. That's a pretty impressive time to the top.
nicely around the hairpin as well without bogging down and losing too much.
Yeah.
So that's a good time from Chris.
Yeah, 103.52. So Curly Hay is edging closer to his course record of 1:2:15. So a 103.52 from Chris Hay.
As we just wait for James Palmer to come up to the line, and the Subaru Legacy, I think, is our next. No, we've got, in fact, got Richard
Bateman.
Richard Bateman's coming up to the line, but just my granddaughter's just jumped into the commentary here. Come here, Georgie. Lean in. How was that ride?
It was good.
You went with Ari?
Yep.
Yeah. And really enjoy that?
Yep.
What did you think it was going to be like that, or something completely different for you?
It was completely different.
Fast?
Very.
When you were coming down the hill, were you looking at the sea over there, or were you looking right for you on the road?
I was looking at the road because I was too small, so I could barely
Oh, you
see.
could.
Well, he took quite a bit of time off his time, so he might be calling you up for the
Yeah.
co-driver seat tomorrow, so you better keep your bags back.
Yeah.
You might need the job. Good on you, Georgie. So on the course is Richard Bateman.
So a 38.54 from Richard Bateman in the Evo 9.
Started out in Try to Starlets many years ago.
Yeah, pretty well seen, Richard Bateman. And he has done a 102.4, so he's improved by a couple of seconds as well. 102.4 for Richard Bateman.
So here comes James Palmer now.
And the Summerfield Legacy. God bless it, dear old thing.
Said a few people pedal this one up and down the road.
Indeed. This car's done a 106 round here, so it's a pretty cool time for a car of this age.
Aggressively improved on its budget ever since. He's worked with Matt Summerfield in 2017, and Matt that year got runner-up in the New Zealand Rally Championship.
Here we go. Good reliable
And
old
a good
Legacies.
takeoff there, yeah.
Yep.
That got launched very well by James Palmer. Very smooth, just feathered that pedal nicely.
So James says he's mostly just viewed at this event, although he did it in 2017.
He did a
And
108,
did a 106
yeah,
then.
and he did a 108.51 in his second round today.
So if he can knock a couple of seconds off like others have done so far, he might already be down to close to his equal time of a 106.
42.15 to the top, but he goes very wide there.
Very wide line.
It'll cost him dearly, but 42.15, pretty good time.
So from mechanicking to driver for James Palmer, car 28.
Okay, we just had to announce that the run going to be concluded at 5:30 this afternoon.
So there we have a 107.95 for James Palmer. So he took just half a second off there, but that's not a bad time going into tomorrow.
So we hear the action will stop at 5:30 on the hill today, so I think we should get most of the cars through by
We've
then,
got
all the remaining cars.
27 cars to get through.
So we might,
If there's 27 left, or maybe there's not 27 to get through yet, but
providing no more incidents or hold-ups on the line.
yeah. That's Willie Hawes in the Celica.
As he heads off the start line, supported by Agile Performance Limited. Not a name you'd normally put to a Toyota Celica, Agile, but there we are. Agile Performance Limited,
And
Hawco Engineering Services.
In their day, they were the bee's knees, weren't they? Remember Carlos Sainz and the Celica?
If you had a proper one, they were good.
Yeah,
A real one. Of course, they were virtually unbeatable, weren't they?
beautiful. Carlos Sainz, whose son is racing in Formula One.
Yes.
Here we are, 42.45 to the top.
42.45 to the hairpin for Willie Hawes.
Oh, and here we have some more comments. Joe McAndrew.
G'day, Joe.
Cheers, mate. Give it heaps. 107.93. So that's second and a half made up by William Hawes.
Joe was probably looking fondly at that legacy that went up the hill just before as well.
So we've got some more here from Jonathan Butler in Shropshire in the UK. Brian Rooney, hi from Perth. Steve Morris from Balclutha. Aaron Collier from Pocono in the Waikato. Thanks, Aaron, for your comments. And Malcolm Clooney.
Dave Ollis heads off up the course now from Woodend Automotive and the Subaru WRX RA. Competed in rallying in the late 1980s, early 90s, then went circuit car racing, then motocross, and then came back to rallying 4 years ago. Back where he started.
Why not?
So Dave has built this car, built it 4 years ago. And of course, as we mentioned, recently won the Catlins Rally in the hands
There
of
we
his
go, a
son-in-law.
41.5 from Dave Wallace to the top there. Dave Wallace in the WRX.
The cars will conclude their run this afternoon at 5:30. Those that have not run will run
Oh, there we are. We have just heard on the announcement that the cars that don't run by 5:30 will get to run in the morning.
107.23 from Dave Ellis, so he's half a second slower than he was earlier on.
As car 25 comes up to the line for Sam Hurley.
And the Evo 3. Evo 3 is one of the very early of the Evos. Good start from Sam Hurley, chasing a 1785.
Sam started rallying in 2011 in a Starlets and upgraded to the Evo in 2014.
And I think for Sam, David, you'd be looking at getting in the top 15 this year, I'd say.
So pictures looking good as we head up towards the Hella
They're
hairpin.
looking great actually, as they go into camera 4 shot in a time of 40.95.
40.95 to the hairpin.
Chucky's impressed with your technical knowledge there, Lindsay.
Well
Camera 4.
done, Lindsay.
He's in charge of camera 4, well done, they're doing a good job.
Down the hill he comes, Sam Hurley, to finish his final run of the day.
Here he comes through the Kumo pass.
Camera 6 is on duty now. 106.97 and he's a second quicker than where he was in the second run. So good run by Sam Hurley in the Evo 3.
So, Matthew
Matt McGlinchey.
Clinchy.
McGlinchey in the WRX. He's after a 1:10.27 was his best time to date.
So Matthew's been paddock racing since he was 18, started rallying in 2011.
And so we've got camera 3 just picking him up now.
Yes,
Down at the Zipper back in 2012.
so Matthew's supported by Traction Marketing, Motorsport Fabrication Services, Mag & Turbo, Crow Sport, and a very understanding wife, as we mentioned earlier, that pushed him to buy the new car
So here we
after
are.
he crashed the last
The
one.
top on
Nicely
a
round the
40,
hairpin.
42.35 as he flies down into camera 5 view.
Got the 2.5 litre restrictor turbo engine in this cruiser.
42.35, what's he going to finish the run at?
He'll be quicker than he was, I think, earlier on.
Yes.
But yeah, 107.48. It's 3.5 seconds he's taken off. 2.5 seconds, I beg your pardon. So 107.48 from Matt McGlinchey. Yep.
And I
Really
think
good.
Michael Tom will be up next, yes. From Auckland. Another of the
Tom.
very popular Evo 3s.
Yeah, the good old Evo 3s. Former touring car driver and Michael Tom. He did a 109.09 in the last run.
Been a good, clean event so far for Michael Tom, keeping it online and in the tracks.
Yeah, come a long way for this, so you hope he's going to keep it nice and tidy as he goes into the hairpin with a time
That's
of
nice.
41.51.
Nice to be around there.
Yeah, it was. So he's on target to be near McGlinchey or quicker. They both were pretty close in the first 2 runs. So a 109.09 is his best to date.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what that cut-off will be. Top 32 tomorrow. Here he comes.
Here we are with a 107.54. So he's just a fraction under McGlinchey. 107.48 and now 107.54.
Great to see the close competition in all the classes, and I guess when you got a course that's 1.7k, it comes down to seconds in the end. Corey McCaskill from Cromwell. Finished in 16th place here last year.
He did a 106.85 last time, which is a very good time. So if he can itch out a bit more than around the 105s, he's in good company.
Well, he's owned this car since 2014. It was built up by Glenn Robber and then run by Matt Jansen. Now, Matt Jansen, a very quick driver in the North Island.
Corey states his motorsport highlights as being surrounded by the wonderful, awesome people involved in motorsport, which is so true. And travelled to Australia on Hayden's tour, which he really enjoyed, and says lots of fun sponsoring and supporting Matt Summerfield as well. Corey McCaskill from Cromwell.
Very good sentiments, Corey. We applaud you 100% for what you just said. 41.75 to the head, so he's on par with Tom and Michael Tom and Matthew Glynchy. Oh, a 107.5.
A little bit of bank riding on the way.
Got a bit exciting there. So our last three competitors have done 107.48, 107.54 and 107.5. And Corey
How close can you get?
Corey McCaskill came very close to a mother's moment there. Yeah.
It's definitely going to be all on for these boys tomorrow.
Oh, isn't it wonderful?
It's Jason Clark from Blenheim, car number 19.
Kilo 5, Jason Clark and a 1.454 last time out.
Incredibly close, isn't it? Four of them within
1.5 seconds.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant.
Keep on going in here, Dave. What's this? Yeah.
Yeah. So up to the hairpin comes Jason Clark.
39 at 6.7 for Jason Clark at the top.
Jason was one of those drivers who competed in two cars off memory last year, but just in the one, the Evo 5 this year.
Oh, down to a 103. 103.07 for Jason Clark. That's a good time. That's a very good time.
Right. So next up comes Garrett Thomas, our current and reigning mainland rally champion. Normally it's a husband and wife combination of Garrett and Gemma Thomas. Of course, another car built by Dave Hollis at Woodend Automotive.
105.59 was Garrett's best time.
And how fortunate Garrett is to have father-in-law that can build the car.
Yeah, it's a good combination, isn't it?
Great family combination.
And for Dave, for his daughter to marry a rally enthusiast, that's not bad going either, is it?
So, as we mentioned before, only 3 years in rallying for Garrett, but he competed in motocross until the age of 16, but he really has become just a natural.
39.14. So he's heading for a 103 as well.
So
What's he in for? 102 something, you reckon? The way he's going. 103.34, just marginally quicker than his last time, but 103.34. So Jason Clark's actually gone quicker than him now with a 103.07.
it was a superb time from Jason.
Yeah, so nothing much between these guys now.
Matt Summerfield comes up to the line. And his Subaru Impreza. 3-time winner in 3 different cars here at Ashley Forest. But this is the ex-Richard Mason car that they've owned since 2015. No, we've got Brendan Hart's come up to the line.
Brendan Hart from Nelson in the Evo 3, another Evo 3. A 108.28 from Brendan Hart, so I would suggest that the 103s could be out of his reach, but the time set previously by the likes of Corey McCaskill and Michael Tom will be within his reach.
So is Matt Summerfield going to come to the line, or maybe he might miss this round?
Well, I guess Matt was qualified anyway, and there'll be no problems there, so probably have no reason to take him this round, but don't know.
There may be a tweak coming to this car for tomorrow, so perhaps.
Well, there is a tweak apparently, so
Apparently they are working on
so
that.
the underworld tells me.
So
It could be going open class tomorrow is the word.
So we're
There's something
waiting
happened
for
here.
Brendan Hart.
He's gone. Yep. Hasn't arrived here. I think he's broken down. He's in our blind spot.
Here could be a breakdown on the course.
He's in our blind spot between camera 2 and camera 3. Chuck? Yes. Yeah.
Agreed. Nothing.
So definitely he has stopped. So Brendan Hart from Nelson, who said he started chucking stones at age 13 on a 350 Honda twin-powered go-kart in a forestry block in Tokra Flat, West Coast. His first rally sport event was 1997 on road tyres in a Fiat 131.
Well, that'd be entertaining, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Be pretty slippery.
He said it definitely made for an interesting downhill hard left onto a bridge. And there's an exclamation mark.
Yeah, I can understand that too.
First rally was Westland 2004, the same car, which he had from 1997 to 2009. Done 8 rallies in 3 different cars. Bought an Evo in 2008, which I owned for 6 months specifically to do the Westland in a faster car. Finished Westland first in class and luckily didn't crash it, as it was pre-sold to be picked up after the rally, so it's always a good bonus that you don't do that before you have to hand it over. Chucky agrees. So the course car has gone up to rescue Brendan Hart, and with our cut-off at 5:30 now, then there could be some cars which won't make the final, make their run for the third qualifying run today, and if that happens, they will be held over until tomorrow morning.
We can't tell you what's happened here because we can't see whether he's crashed,
No.
stopped.
So just
Lions have a good interview. Lions spoke to him.
Yeah. Pretty Lawrence mentioned your name. Lawrence mentioned your name.
so just waiting for the course to be cleared, and we'll just check in with our comments team and see if we've had any more comments coming via the internet. Of course, if you are watching live streaming on whatever Facebook platform you're watching, you're more than welcome to send a message to us. And it's nice to see so many people watching this event from all over the world and around New Zealand, coming to you from. Here he is. He's backing down the hill.
That's
So
good, he's okay.
I guess a mechanical of some
Yeah,
sort.
you don't want to see a wreck on a trailer, on a truck, do you, on a trailer? So that's good.
Coasted down the hill.
Of course, the event official, Dave McClark, clerk of the course, assistant clerk of the course is James
And
Hunter,
he
assistant clerk of the course also Teresa
looking for a little bit of natural momentum to get him down through the finish line and to the pits. So bad luck for Brendan Hart from Nelson. Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 3 stopping on the uphill part of the course. So Mark Pedersen then should be coming up to the line once the course is cleared and set to go.
Or Matt Summerfield.
Or Matt Summerfield, correct.
Well, we've got some more comments here from Lucas Ginter in Argentina. Lucas, marvellous to hear from you.
And good morning from Greece.
Yeah, good morning from Thanos Abir. Good dude from Greece.
Pleasure to have you with us. As Mark Pedersen heads off up the hill, car number 15. Fourth time Mark has been to the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. And his best time so far is a 109.6. So Mark says he purchased this car as a bare shell in 2013 with the idea of building a cheap club car. That's how they all start off, don't they?
4306 to the top.
So he's now replaced, upgraded the gearbox, drive chain, suspension, computer, roll cage. So a cheap club car has evolved into a fantastic rally car. And here he is coming down to the finish line, Mark Pedersen from Christchurch.
No, 109.6, so he is marginally quicker than 9.3. No, he's a bit slower. He's slower. Not by much, but he is slower.
So here comes Nick Clark. This is Nick Clark from Christchurch, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6. Previous Raytech overall club champion. Mostly competing in hill climbs and street sprints.
His best time's been a 1:10.11.
So he's been coming to this event for many years as a spectator, a co-driver, and also a competitor. And competitor he is on the course right now, Nick Clark, heading up to the hairpin.
42.72 to the top. Could be down a bit.
Well, he is coming down a bit now. Quite a bit.
I hope quite a bit.
Ah, So, across the finish line he comes with a time of 109.81.
The same as he did in. No, it is not. Beg your pardon. It is his best run of the day.
Best run of the day.
109.81 compared to Mark Pearson's 109.93.
So, a couple of hundredths quicker. And we just have heard that Matt Summerfield has broken an axle, so that's why he didn't take his normal start order, and obviously won't be competing. Won't be competing in round 3. As Luke McLennan from Ashburton heads up the hill in yet another Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 3.
He's chasing 108.45.
Oh, he's warming up. Oh, okay, so they must have changed the axle. Right, so Matt's warming up, axle changed, here we go. So, stand by folks, as Luke McLennan from Ashburton heads up towards the Hella hairpin. He's competed here for the last 5 years.
And a 42.39 to the top.
So good clean run down the hill and heading towards the finish line. Luke McLennan from Ashburton, and
And a 109.11. 109.11, so he's a bit slower than last time. So we've got Matt Summerfield coming in now, have we?
nope, we've got the VR4.
We've got the VR4. This lovely VR4. It's not Maury Chandler in the VR4.
Or Lewis Scott.
Or Lewis. See those Mitsubishis? The same that car takes all over the old Evos, doesn't it?
Yep.
Very smooth. Such the power
Pressure.
band, so even through those gears, those lower gears.
So Gareth bought his first rally car, a Corolla, at age 16. He's now 32, and he's had this car for 8 years. And one of the 7 who have travelled down from the North Island.
39.82 to the top as he chases his 104.75. It's a pretty decent time for this car, Grant, a 104, isn't it?
And he hasn't actually competed for the last 12 months, so he's brought it out of the shed and down here, and is part of the engine room Rally Sprint Series team of 4 that have come down from
At
the
a
North Island.
105.98, so he's over a second slower than his previous time. We've got here car 11, which is Jason McConnell from just in Christchurch with the Evo 7. Former stock car driver, 12 years driving stock cars. This will be a bit different from stock cars, Grant, wouldn't it? The only crash and bash is something you cause yourself here.
I was going to say it'd be a bit lonely on this course.
Yeah. 7th time up here at Ashley.
And he launched that very nicely out of the blocks, Jason
Yeah,
McConnell.
it did. It was a very smooth takeoff there.
And supported by high-tech service centre and high-tech wheel alignment, Jason McConnell.
So we've got 5 minutes to go.
And I
We've
don't
got 10 cars to go, 11 cars to go. What a shame.
might have to have a Le Mans start to get them all through.
Yeah, I think you can push them all through now. However, not our decision, Grant. The wiser people than you and I make these decisions.
Nice and tight and tidy around the hairpin for Jason McConnell.
40.95 40.95 for the top.
Heading towards the finish line now, Jason McDonald, and he will stop the clock at
106.98. So he goes quite a bit quicker than any other time he's done today. But he's just taken 2.5 seconds off his time.
So getting down to those under the 10s is, as we said before, is it's another sort of benchmark, isn't it, to try and get under a 110, and then you're trying to get under the minute, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Rightio, here we go.
Daniel
There's
Feck.
Daniel Feck in car number 9 from the thriving metropolis of Dannyvert, Grant, home of Grant McDonald.
the McDonald's are just about all left now. The
All left.
population's probably gone down considerably. 2.5 V6 turbo engine with the running gear out of a Lignum VR4, and supported by Team Speed FX, Amy Feck Physio and Dannyberg, the Engine Room Automotive from Palmerston North, and Hewitt Motorcycles in Dannyberg. Of course, the most well-known rally competitor that came out of Dannyberg when I was living there and starting journalism and did quite a few articles on, of course, was the late Malcolm Stewart.
Malcolm Stewart. I thought he was from your neck of the woods. That's why he knew so much.
I can tell you I much preferred to go to talk to him than to go to the CWI meetings or the stock sales. The junior reporters have to do the lot.
So you would have put to the lot there. It was your parents' Grant, you had to learn those rules.
Indeed. So just a little hold up for Daniel Feck at the moment.
I would say he'll be the last competitor too, if they're calling the 5:30 time.
Could well be. So just waiting to see whether Daniel is going to get a run. As we have just 9 cars to go to finish this third qualifying run, but if they do stop the competition at 5:30, then the remaining cars from this run will go first thing in the morning, and then we'll have one more final qualifying round before the top 32 are chosen to continue on through the elimination rounds of the finals day on Sunday. Here for the Winmax brake pads, Ashley Forest Rally Sprint 2019. Still some indecision on the start line as we wait to see whether Daniel's going to get a start or not. So Daniel actually built this car in 2008, used in local rallies and sprints with good success in the two-wheel drive cars, and it said he found a $200 Lignum VR4 in 2016 and fitted the four-wheel drive running gear to this car with Dad's help, and he's revving it up and getting ready to go. Daniel Feck.
Good start up there.
Well, this might be the fastest VR4 to go up the circuit this
Well,
weekend.
it could be too, the fastest VR4. It'd be a bit lighter than the other ones.
Yes, that's right.
The other one.
Another nice tidy run for Daniel Feck on the uphill. And up to the Heller hairpin.
And a 39.54 as he chases down his 105.84.
He's got that hairpin sussed quite
Yeah,
nicely.
he has. He takes
Cuts
it
it
very,
in,
very
not wide.
tightly.
Oh, getting a little bit loose coming on the way down.
Here we go, 103.92. Well, he's taken off 2 seconds. Just under 2 seconds for his 1:03.92. That's a very good time, that car.
Right, another car comes up.
Oh, it's Matt
So here comes
Summerfield.
Matt Summerfield. So Matt's going to get the chance to have a run. Axle repaired, roof scoop open, eyes forward. And you'll notice as we have a shot on the window there, that each time they put a co-driver in, they put a new co-driver name on the car. Nice work. And events like this are certainly events that you can give sponsors and people a ride and certainly experience the thrill of Ashley Forest.
So 1:02.31 was Matt's
He's
time in run 2.
honking up the hill, the lights are on. Nice, very nice.
Looking good so far.
A little bit wide.
No, clipping the apex there quite nicely. So there we go, and a 38.47 to the top. We have an expectant, nervous Summerfield crew behind on my left shoulder here.
As he comes down towards the finish line, Matt Summerfield, 3-time Ashley Forest Rally winner.
1:01.34.
Oh yes,
Yes.
good work.
He's just taken a second off. 1:01.34 for Matt Summerfield.
That is a honking
That's
time.
a honking time that was. Oh, that's quick for that car. What did you do? 1:01.
Dad just leaned over and said he taught him everything he knows. We know that, Les. And they still wouldn't give him a car for the weekend.
Les, come here.
Even had to get, come here.
Come here and say, come here.
Lean right in.
Come and talk to us, Les.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, how do you feel about that, Les?
Where am I?
Yeah.
Just talk.
Yeah, good. Pretty happy then.
1:01.34. You said you taught him all he knew, but they wouldn't even give you a car for the weekend. How do you feel about that?
No, I got a wee bit relegated about that, but you know, that's what happens apparently when you get older.
Thanks, Les.
Does that mean we're going to get relegated? We might get relegated next year,
Yeah,
Lindsay.
I think we're for the chop too soon, I think.
With the camera for him, look at that. Matt actually said that he's not on his game today yet.
No, you got to be on your game day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Game day tomorrow. But that's a good time.
Oh,
So are we?
So it looks like that is it.
It looks like it.
That's the last car to run on the course for today. So that means that we have Graham Begiering, Mike Wellington, Trevor Crowe, Sean Haggerty, Richard Bateman. Sean Haggerty is still going there, of course. Mike Tall, and then the two fast guys, Hayden Padden and Sloane Cox, will get to do their third run tomorrow morning before the final qualifying round. So it's been another brilliant day here at Ashley Forest. The weather's held up brilliantly. A little bit of sunstrike which caused a delay. We do apologise to our live stream viewers that we had to drop out of coverage for a while until the sun sorted itself out. But it certainly has been a great day, Lindsay, and already the arms are out. People are...
The arms are extended very wide,
Yep.
and I noticed in that middle pack there with the rally cars and both those rally car classes, those times through there are so close, so incredibly close that tomorrow, when the elimination, it's just going to be one minor error, and you could be gone. That's how close it is for those guys tomorrow.
So if you've been watching this at home and you're close by, you can see how close this competition is. It's going to be another cracker day tomorrow, even hotter than it is today. So it'll be a perfect day to grab the family and head out here to Ashley Forest and enjoy the event.
And the other thing that we mustn't forget is that Sloane Cox is really in the picture.
Yes.
I think everyone was expecting Hayden Padden to be, no one else was going to matter. But I'll tell you what, Sloane Cox has every chance of winning tomorrow as well. So hey, we're in for a thrilling finish tomorrow.
We are indeed. So a special thanks now to all the MoMac crew who've been part of the coverage today. Ryan, our producer, Tony in the technical department, Chucky in charge, of course, the director, the editor, switching the pictures, And a thanks to our camera operators Todd, James, Dale, Blake and Matt, Sheridan and Anaru, who've been doing the running around for us. And this is Chucky in charge on the corner here. So on behalf of all the crew here at the Winmax Brakes Pads Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, we'd like to wish you a very good afternoon until tomorrow morning. We look forward to your company once again.